All right, good morning, trade pros. Welcome to our morning market update. Hope you guys are having a great day. My wife and I were just playing around with the word with some different pronunciation, and I'm petitioning to have it changed globally to update. All right, so hope you guys are having a great day. It's Friday, and markets are enjoying it. We're getting a little bit of consolidation early on in the morning here, but quite a little bit of upside. Let's talk about what drove markets higher yesterday. All right. First and foremost, yesterday at 6 p.m., Donald Trump had his speech, much anticipated and debated, and I guess the word would be waited upon to talk about how he's going to reopen the U.S. economy. All right, which triggered some pretty big gains overnight in the U.S. We know at this point we need the economy to start back up. Any hope of it starting back up, any promise of it starting back up is a positive thing because we lost a lot of consumption, which has caused a lot of economic pain across the board, right? So he listed three different phases that this is going to happen in. Strict social distancing, limited gatherings, and then identification and isolation. He detailed the pages, a little slideshow of things showing. I'm not going to go through it. You can just watch or re-listen to it, and I highly encourage you to if this is a big interest point for you. All right, but it aims at lifting restrictions in areas where there's low COVID-19 transmission. Okay, and it said as many as 29 states could open up relatively quickly. Very ironic because this speech happens on a day that the deaths were twice as high and just soared through kind of a resistance. If it wasn't resistance, it was a breakout. But we also have to remember that that's a metric that's a little bit delayed. It sounds bad to say that, and if you just look at it from a statistical point, it's a delayed metric. It's not a metric. It is lives, so I understand, okay? Governors of both parties, though, they said that they're going to open up their own states at their own pace, which kind of opposed the speech. It's very interesting, but that's where we're at. That caused some upside. Another upside event yesterday was Gilead. So I found this was interesting. Gilead Sciences is a company that is developing currently a injection. It's not really a vaccine. A vaccine prevents you from getting it. If you already have it, it'd be more like a shot. All right, and it's called remdesivir, and so this is the interesting part. They say that they passed the trial and it's worked, and only one person has died that's gotten it. The mortality rate was much lower of people who were severely infected. The company itself kind of peeled back that rumor, saying like we're not that close. It's not as positive as it sounds. But when the article broke on Bloomberg, the market skyrocketed on the open. There was absolutely no sellers, just everyone buying into the market. Very ironic. If you guys watch options, go yesterday and pull up the open interest for this company, and you'll see that a massive long call option position got put in that sticks out like a sore thumb right before it happened. Probably go check it out from 9:30 to about 10:20ish or so. You'll see a pretty big order coming in and hitting the book. All right, big long call option buyer. Non-coincidentally, obviously, as the same day this rumor gets released, obviously, and the day before option expiry. Today's option expiry, so it happened yesterday. Interesting, all right? That's the way it is. I don't think, it's not a conclusive study by any stretch, but, you can see that the market's ready for good news. The good news was priced in very quickly, but, it dropped relatively quickly as well. But it's holding on to gains. We rallied more than we dropped once the rumor were dispelled. That's a sure sign of a market that wants to get bullish. Gilead, G-I-L-D is the ticker symbol. All right. Look at Boeing as well. They announced the resumption of their airline production. They said they're going to start working in their facility with 27,000 workers next week. And so that's positive news. The mayor of Jacksonville, Florida, reopens the beaches at 5 p.m. on Friday. All right. And so you're seeing things starting to reopen. Now, China. Let's talk about China overnight. Hey, Z, how you doing, brother? Look at China. It suffers its worst GDP print since 1992. And the only reason it's since 1992 is because that's when they started publishing that data. A 6.8% contraction in the first quarter due to the coronavirus pandemic. Absolutely horrific data point. Most economists expected 6%, and we came out at 6.8. So worse than expected. But, we already kind of knew that. It's delayed data because China already had their episode of coronavirus. It's hitting a second time. There's a second wave. right? It's not as bad this time around. Who knows why? If it's not actually bad, or if it's the data is not as fresh, if you will. But it was worse than expected. This GDP print in China was worse than expected. So everything that's been happening with this in China will kind of be looked at as a framework of what the future could be for any other country. So that's a nasty GDP. China said that they're going to be reopening their business activity, so it's up to 83% of capacity currently versus 70% about a month ago. And they said the economy is going to grow 2% for the full year. So despite how bullish this market reacts to the economy reopening, I want to make a note on this. I'm responsible to give you all opinions and all sides of it because you're probably interested in investing your money. And as an investor, you can't be an opinionated investor. You got to be a raw, real, reflective, self-aware investor. It's the only way it's going to be if you're going to be successful. You can't hinge on to opinion and bet on it. All right. There's better ways to do it, more fun ways. You can go to the casino and they'll even give you free beer if you want to bet. But if you want to be rational, if you want to take in information without being objective, all right? Here's the other part of this. So at the moment, a lot of places in the US, this may not be the case, but in Canada at this very moment, it's not closed. So when people say reopen the economy, you can socially distance and go outside, right? So it's not like there's a military order like there was in China that you stay outside or stay home, and the moment you step foot outside, you're going to get shot at, right? It's not that extreme. I can go outside. I can do stuff. People are outside. They're running and doing these things. The question is, will the demand return? Will the doors open to the economy today, and there's going to be a lineup of people at the Mercedes dealership waiting to buy cars, a lineup at the pizza store for people who crave pizza so bad? That's what we need. We need to get people to come back. Will they do that? That's the question. Reopening a store is one thing, but we all know just because something is open doesn't mean you're going to have customers. My God, do I know that? At 2012, I created the foundations course. I'm like, I have a foundations course, and no one showed up. All right. I understand how this works. All right? Anyone who started a business understands the premise that just because you're open doesn't mean people are coming through the door. So be careful. I think markets are jolly. I think they're excited. I think they're just shy of 2,900 overnight. The overnight high was 28. 28. What was it? 85. Okay, so pretty big upside. Now we're off of those highs, and I think this morning we sell off a little bit. The fact that this reopening thing isn't as impactful for the time being, at least for the very moment. We're gonna have to see some more information. All right, and so who just said that comment? Was that about the Gilead? How do I look at the comments? Here we go. I can't see it anymore. That's interesting. So anywho, I see a little bit of sell-off in the morning continuing. I think that today it's a Friday. It's a nice jolly way to end the week. It's option expiry, and there could be some sell side this week, and then we're going to see some more data points. Bank earnings didn't really disappoint as bad this week. They were able to cope with it with their cash flow situation. I think Q2 is going to be the important one, and I do think it's important to reopen the economy. I do think it's important to get back to things the way they were. I don't know though. All right, that's what I want to ask you guys. Would you get back to things the way they were if tomorrow everything opened up? All right, let me ask you this. Are you staying home because things are closed, or are you staying home because you think it's safer? That's the question I'd like to ask. Because based on that answer, a lot of economic activities is dependent on it. All right. Graham, you're right in these days, actually. Both, says Alex. Interesting. That's an interesting comment. I never considered that as well. It doesn't have to be polar, I guess. Only one or the other. Let's see what some of the room's saying here. I just want to ask you guys that out. Safer at home. It's more safety play. Okay. Interesting. You would absolutely go to the gym. That's the one that kind of kills me, to be honest with you. It's like, I want to go to the gym. I got right back into the routine, and then it's like the coronavirus says, nope, not this time. and it shut down. That's the one that scares me the most. You know, at my gym, we were just coughing all over things, sneezing, mucus is dripping everywhere. It's more gross. I made it more gross than it seems, but it's, you know, that's a place that you probably get it. So be careful. All right, love you guys. Thank you for the vote. It's interesting to see that, and I hope that it gave you some reflection as well on this YouTube update. Markets are all up across the board. You know, crude oil is getting absolutely destroyed this morning, down 10%. It's now down into the low 1730s. You know, my target on is around 1550, and then that'll probably be the bottom end of this huge sell-off. And we need demand to return. The IEA just came out this morning with a report saying demand for crude oil is the lowest it's ever been since 1989. Okay, think about how many less people there were in 1989, and that's a mind-blowing stat right there. Very, very interesting. All right. Yeah, we got to roll forward as well, Oshin. That's going to help with the price. Okay, love you guys. YouTube, be safe. Have a great weekend. You know, be happy, be hopeful. Let's not be scared of this kind of stuff. But I think we're coming into a resolution point. I think that's good news for the market and for us. You know, there's going to be some kind of path forward. I love you guys all. Be safe this weekend. Be merry. And we'll see you on Monday. I'm going to turn over to Steven to talk about oil. Thank you guys for voting and participating in the discussion with me. Take care. Peace out. And you know what I'd love to see? I'm going to do a YouTube where I'm going to ask you guys to come on the camera with me and show me your haircut. I'd love to see your hair. That's going to be, I think dressers and barbers are going to be swamped. All right, guys. Take care. See you later. Bye.